Um, the second time I was arrested, it was by special forces again. Super weird. I don't know why special forces are coming to my house. I was set at a bond for $300,000. That's what you said a murderer's bond for. I'm sorry, not a woman who drove down 360 to go to church. Um, another way you can get arrested by violating your bond is like when you have a protective order against you by yourself. Disclaimer: I had no reason to have a protective order put against me. They just did that because the dad wanted it, but there was no legal basis for it, and I have filed a mandamus that's like, I don't know, 600 pages long or 1,000 pages long, something like that, in the Supreme Court against that. Um, and I have also filed a habeas corpus in the Supreme Court, which they granted an emergency stay, and the protective order I expect to prevail on the mandamus as well, because if I don't, I will take it to the real Supreme Court, because there's no legal basis for doing that. But you never know, because in the district courts they haven't followed the law for 4 years, and I haven't seen my son. It's totally against the law what they're doing. And even when I get attorneys, it seems like, I don't know if the attorneys just feel like it's hopeless and this is just what happens, and they just string me along to get as much money as possible, or what. But I digress. The point is, arrested by special forces, bond set at $300,000. I'm cleaning my house. I've got, rubber gloves on. 6-month-old baby is nursing in his kangaroo pouch. I've got my tank top all like pulled up, my shirt pulled up there, and like you can just see from a distance that I'm in no position to run or fight or anything. Like, maybe I had a long sleeve shirt on this winter. I'm wearing a kangaroo pouch. My baby's nursing. My shirt's pulled up. I'm wearing rubber gloves, and I've got a phone and headphones on one hand because I'm doing an interview with UT for a PTSD study that I was doing with Dr. Telge's lab. From all this stuff, like literally, my biggest problems are from all the stuff that they've done to me. But whatever. I'm taking out the trash with the other hand, and you just picture it like headphones, cell phone, talking, trash in his hand, green rubber gloves, baby in the kangaroo pouch. They're like, you can see my whole house. The front door has been open for hours because I'm mopping and cleaning the house, and I like to get fresh air. And there's no reason to have 5 guys run up in a van with their guns out and arrest me. You can literally like have a counselor come by and be like, "Oh, ma'am, we got a report that you violated your protective order, and we just wanted to talk to you and see what's going on." They could talk to me, find out I went to church. I didn't know that there was a protective order that was active. I had lunch with my mother and some other church ladies afterwards, and the location of that was apparently next to the dad's attorney's office. Not even next to, like, this protective order is 2,000 yards. So that means, like, that's over a mile. Over a mile. Like, that's the distance between 2,000 yards is the distance between I-35 and Mopac. That covers an entire area. And then over to 360 on that side, 2,000 yards on that side. I'm not supposed to go. He lives right on the corner of Mopac and Rollingwood, so I can't go to Bee Caves. Like, I'm there all the time. I can't go all in that area, all in West Austin. Like, that's where I grew up, like, right here in South and West Austin. So my parents live. That's where my massage place is. That's where I go to Trader Joe's. That's where I go for walks with my dog. That's where I go to church. And have been going to church over there for like 30 years. So, just a little bit ridiculous. But that was the violation of it, and I actually don't even know where his office is. I've been told by the judge, her office, I've been told by the judge it's by Westlake High School. I know where Westlake High School is, but I still don't know. In my mind, I have no visual image of where her office is because I've never been by there. I've never, like, tried to go by there. I've never looked at it. I've never driven in the parking lot. Normally when you violate a protective order, it's because, like, you go stand in someone's yard and are like, "I'm gonna kill you, like, bitch, come out." Like, that's how men get violated for protective order. A woman gets when she goes to church because she's within a mile radius of an attorney's office that she's never been to. So normally the way you would get arrested for a violating a protective order is like someone would say like, hey, there's this person in my yard, they won't leave me alone, or they're like standing outside my car, banging on the window, please, I have a protective order against them, please come get them, you know? They're standing and looking in my window, they're standing in front of my house, like, please come get them, they're violating. That's normally how you would get arrested for a protective order. The other one would be like, if you went in an area that you weren't supposed to be and were like lurking, you know, and you had a GPS monitor on, and then the GPS company would contact the bond officer and would say, hey, we had this person last night, like they were in this area for, you know, 2 hours sitting across the street where they're not supposed to be. What should we do? And then the bond officer would then take that information to the judge, and she would write a letter to the judge or call the judge was not supposed to be in this area, they were in this area from this time to this time, do you want to issue an arrest warrant? And the judge would say, okay, yes or no, or like, let's bring them in, or let's issue an arrest warrant. And that's normally how someone would get arrested for violation of a protective order and get charges against them. In my case, no, that's not how it went down. In my case, went to the judge. So yes, that whole scenario had happened, but through that scenario, that's not how the arrest warrant got issued. The arrest warrant got issued through policemen. I don't know how these policemen knew that I was in this area unless they were specifically following me and keeping tabs on me. The hair's out of the way. The hair's out of the way. Okay, hair's out of the way. Not in the way. Okay. So it's not really working out. There we go. There we go. There we go. So this time, this is like policemen somehow know that I have gone in this 1 mile radius of this attorney's office, that I don't know where it's at when I went to my church over on 360. The hair is out of your way. It's not in your face. It's not in your face. You know, some babies love hair. They stroke it and love it. You're gonna like women with short hair, huh? There you go. To a different judge who's not the judge assigned to my case. They get this judge to put a bond on me that's $300,000, which means I would have to come up with $30,000 to get out of jail. The whole point of all this is to try to get me. That's why they put a 2,000 yard radius instead of the normal 200 yards, which is like, you know, a block or a football field, not a whole mile. You can't even live or work or play in a city with that long. So they go to a different judge who's not assigned to my case. Policemen who have no business, it's not their jurisdiction, it's not their job to go to a judge and say this person violated a protective order and they need to be put in jail. And by the way, we want their bond to be $300,000. But that's what happened. Which means that there are individuals in the police force who are corrupt and doing things that they should not be doing because they're getting kickbacks from attorneys, or they are involved in abusing children and protecting people that are abusing children. I mean, it's like, I'd rather go live in Mexico where I just know that I can pay off the policemen, huh? Like, or pay off the judges. Like, what's the difference? They're doing the same thing here, except you just have to be part of an elite good old boys club to do it. You can't just be anyone. So it takes away the equal protection under the law, which is our 14th Amendment, or equal ability to have the same rights as other people, whether it's through bribing someone or just getting the law to be followed, because we're at a point where the law is not followed by people, and the traditional avenues of how things are supposed to happen, and the courts are not being not excuse me. Oh dear. Not being followed. And now it's at a situation where policemen can track someone, or they can be friends with an attorney or a private investigator. Um, they can then go to a judge and say, we want an arrest warrant. And that's what happened in this case, because I overheard people talking about it in the sheriff's department when I was detained. The policeman can go to a judge and say, we want an arrest warrant issued. We want that bond not to be put at something where you would say, like, someone drove down the street, they didn't know where it was. The bond should have been like $200. It should have been a $2,000 bond. What I did, okay, is it's just an innocent mistake. And even putting it the most like liberal applications, if I purposefully like drove by the street and they've got a freaking monitor on me, they can see that, like they don't, or they're following me. I mean, this is a situation where they had policemen following me around, or someone else keeping tabs on me, and then talking to policemen. So the policeman goes to the judge. They put a my hair's out of your way. Okay, they put a $300,000 bond on me. What you would put a bond on a murderer. And I don't mean just like suspected murder, like someone who shots multiple people in front of lots of other people. And I'm taking that from like actual facts of what an attorney's told me from another client, and what that other client's crime was, and what their bond was. Forgive me, I look so horrible. It's just this all is exhausting. It's just like aged me. It's taken away my youth, and that's probably why I don't make videos as much as I should with all this stuff, because I'm just, ashamed. It just wears me down. But they then arrest me. I'm in jail for about a week now. I have a nursing 6-month-old baby. And or maybe it was 4 days. I don't even remember. It's just such a blur. One time it was like a week. One time it was like 4 days. Then while I'm there, my attorney's trying to get me out on a PR bond, which I don't need to go into how all that works. But PR bond is basically something like the state insures you and they let you out for free. But if you didn't get a PR bond, it's very unusual to get a PR bond. It's kind of like a risk for the courts. My lawyer was very good to get that PR bond. It's a risk for the courts to do such a high PR bond. It's unusual. Normally they do PR bonds for like $200 or $2,000. When someone's got a $20,000 bond, maybe they should put my bond at $20,000. Right? Like that would have been a high bond. When I'm hearing like what other people's bonds are and stuff like that, it's like they're like, oh, I need $200 to get out of jail. I need $500 to get out of jail. Like because they stole something, or because they had, like a quarter pound of drugs. And I don't mean drugs that like marijuana. I mean like other hard drugs on them. And they've got a $2,000 bond. I'm sorry, that's just come on. For a mom who drove down, who tried to see her son for 2 days. That's literally why I'm wearing an ankle bracelet and have been detained, and why I have been set up to break laws by police and attorneys, so that, or the appearance of me breaking laws, so that they can get rid of me, and so that they can do whatever they want to and they can cut off all access to my son, so they can do whatever they want to him without me having any evidence. Because if I have no contact with him, he can't say anything to me, and every time he says something to me, they cut off my access to him. And as he's gotten older and he said more and more stuff, my access has decreased and decreased and decreased. Like it was like, okay, like I was seeing him several times a week. As soon as he started saying stuff, it was like, boom, you don't get to see him. That's what happened. And any talk to the evidence of like she did this or she did did that, or she filed this with no basis, and like you should have sanctions against. It's ridiculous. No, I'm just trying to see my son, and he's been saying really bad things to me. So, the biggest point of this video is while I'm there, You done? You gonna go visit the doggy? Just want a little drink. I love this teacup. My almost mother-in-law gave this to me. It's really like fine china because it hasn't worn out, and I use it all the time. So many like cheap mugs, people get them and they get little cracks in them, whatever. But so I am there and trying to get out, and my lawyer finally got a PR bond for me, and I am sitting in the judge's chambers. They totally take away all your dignity because they make you wear those nasty clothes, and don't give you ability to like bathe or shower or anything. It's degrading. Yeah, I see that. So you're embarrassed. Ew, what is that? Something gross. Thank you. Throw that away. Put that with the flower petals to throw away later. And these beautiful lilies and all the flower petals are falling down. Oh, another flower petal. Thank you. So beautiful. You want to smell it? Oh, good job. Good job, my love. You're right. My hips are good. So I'm there, and the judge is sitting there, and I'm like, they're all talking about stuff, and basically what they're saying is that the judge has been talking to two policemen. You okay, boo-boo? For over half an hour. The judge is past his time of when he was released, got off his shift. I guess some court administrator person said, hey, you can go off. She can see the next judge. And the judge said, no, I'm going to stay late on my shift because I want to talk to Ms. Hart specifically. And he had been talking to policemen in his chambers for about 30 minutes about me because they didn't want to let me out. And this judge, he comes out. His name is Geoffrey Currier of the 460th District Court, and he comes out and he puts another protective order on me because the previous one had expired that I supposedly violated. Look at that! You just pull a leaf out, and we can, this leaf, if you put it in some water, it'll sprout. It's amazing. He puts another protective order on me, and there's no basis for a protective order. To do a protective order, someone has to have threatened violence against someone or attempted violence against someone, which I did none of those things, so you can't sign it. It's against the law. And by against the law, I mean the law says that you have to have these certain things. You have to have committed abuse of a children or person and so on. I mean, come on. I might yell at someone, but I'm not. Only if you deserve it, and very rarely. And in this case, I hadn't even yelled at anyone. The times I've yelled at someone, it's been few and far between. But this judge, he comes out and he puts another protective order. And I don't know why the policemen are in there trying to convince a judge to keep me in jail and put a protective order on me. So basically, and he also says I am now guilty of another crime, which I can't even remember it was. And so I go back in jail. I was about to be released. So I go back in jail, and my attorney has to come get me released out again. And it's so confusing by now. There's so many crimes I've supposedly done. I don't even know what they are. Because I guess because I'm innocent. I don't know what they are. No, baby, we're not going to do that now. And so then my lawyer has to freaking come back. He's there every hour for 2 days trying to get me out. Really good guy, but Yeah, you want to do that vacuum, but mommy's busy right now. Have you seen these dogs? Look at these. 1, 2, 3, big dogs. Oh, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you put those together? I'm almost done. The point is, like, why are these cops getting judges to put big bonds on me, to put me in jail? That's not cops' business. Their job is to go arrest someone and keep the peace. Like, they're not supposed to get people accused of crimes. Like, I guess they are, but it just doesn't make sense. They need to find something else to do besides harassing moms who are just trying to see their children and protect their children from a bad guy, their father. And I haven't even had a hearing that was fair and that has me on the record. There's almost no hearings with me on the record, and they specifically do that. They have hearings without me there, or when there is a hearing, they don't give me the opportunity to speak. A judge shuts me down. I don't even get to speak on the record. The only thing I have to way I can put stuff on the record is by filing motions in court. Can you do that? Make your belly. Stick out your tongue and rub your belly. So I don't know why Joffrey Puryear, I don't make videos before because you're afraid of retribution. You have to go. You could get arrested again and go in front of the judge again. But you know what? It doesn't matter. They're gonna do retribution whether I say anything or not. They're gonna punish me whether I speak out or I'm silent. It's not gonna change the punishment. And this idea that like, oh, if I'm quiet and I'm a good girl, like they're not gonna punish me. No, because they punished me when I was quiet and a good girl. And totally took my son away and lied about it and all kinds of other stuff. So that's what I had to say with that. They're not following the law and that judges are going against the interests of the people by don't bang that. Judges are going against the interests of the people by giving credibility to cops and not following the law to their special interests and donors. And it's too bad that special interests that have tried to get rid of. There's your cookie. My God, good thing I discovered it. From there, you put it in the plant. You did a good job hiding it. No wonder why. See, mommy has special powers. I've never moved those leaves away and looked underneath them in my life. I just decided to do that just then. Look at that. Mommy has special powers. You do. Anyways, here is a good mom to sign off, trying to fight for justice for our children, and children should see both parents. And if a parent says that the child's being abused by the other parent, that should not be ignored. It should be investigated. It should be investigated thoroughly. And saying claims that, oh, she's just making stuff up, that's not how you discredit a parent. You discredit a parent by doing investigation, by doing people know how to investigate stuff. They know how to interview a child. You don't go interview a child by CPS for the first time in 4 years because he spent 2 days with his mother and refused to interview a child when CPS has been played recordings that would indicate that the child has been abused. So it's just the craziest. We live in a crazy, messed up world. I can't even say it because I want to improve my language in front of my son. You know what I'm trying to say. And we don't need to spend public resources putting moms in jail for trying to see their child to figure out what's going on with them and figure out if they really are being abused and put protective orders on them when protective orders are designed to prevent men from killing women or women from killing men, but usually that's not the way it works. Like, protective orders were originally designed because because men were so crazy they'd come just kill you, like in your sleep. Like, I'm afraid when I go to bed at night someone's gonna come kill me in my sleep because of what they did to me. And someone in the cops, like, I can't just go live somewhere where the dad doesn't know because I'm afraid of him. I'm afraid of the cops too, and the whole judicial system. And they know where I'm at all the time. So what's the point? Like, that's why I'm putting these videos up, because there's such crazy stuff that I live in fear that I will be killed by, someone at the Justice Department or someone by the dad, and they'll say that I did something that I didn't do. And when they came and arrested me the second time, they cut off my electricity to my house, so my security cameras couldn't pick up anything that I had installed around my house. I mean, that's pretty messed up. Like, that's the only way. I have never once, in living here in many years, had my electricity go out to my house. And it was off or if it has, then I physically had to go flip the breaker. Now, this was like, the electricity only went off for about an hour surrounding the rest. When I got out, everything was back on and back to normal. I didn't go have to flip a breaker. Breaker doesn't flip back by itself. So they cut off the electricity, arrested me once everything was cleared up, and someone went and turned my electricity back on. I need to get a lock at Home Depot. My massive to-do list of trying to fight the injustice all by myself when no one cares. And because that's just the society we live in. And instead of people being kind and sympathetic and helping you out because of it, people ostracize you and they insult you and yell at you next door like you're a felon, and they have no idea what's really going on. And I mean, you can't imagine like the trauma that does to a person. You get socially isolated. You don't have friends because no one wants to be friends with someone wearing an ankle bracelet and who's been in jail and has their name all over the media, because I mean, that's crazy. Like, you just totally cut off from society. And they do that on purpose because they want you to have a mental breakdown from not only you knowing what they're doing to your child, but other people refusing to acknowledge and believe it. And other people can, they can believe it or not believe it, and I think the reason that people don't want to believe it is because it's too painful for them, because if they did believe it, they would have to do something about it, and they don't want to do something about it. They want to live in their like cut off little world of a bubble. Even my own brother wants to live in this little like bubble. This isn't happening. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to go into it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about it. But the injustice is huge, and it's not just to black men. They're doing it, or black women, or Latina. It's to everyone. If you're not part of their little Jeffrey Epstein sicko circle of demon Satan worshippers, I'm gonna take you down. That's all there is to it. I'm gonna take your children. There's all this stuff about families shouldn't be separated. Well, I don't know, been separating American families for a long time, and no one cares or says or does anything. My little honey boo boo, yeah, cookie good. You're spitting it out. Ugh. Almond chocolate cookie. That's a I thought you wanna. Are you gonna have nap, or you're just gonna nurse? We can do that. We're gonna wait till 1 to have nap time and switching nap time later. Yeah, so you nap for longer. Okay, we're ready.